Welcome to Annapolis Mosaics. Our show spotlights people in our city who are involved in activities designed to promote good human relations. I am Michael Keller, the chair of the Annapolis Human Relations Commission and your host. The commission is a city board that seeks to ensure equal opportunity and to eliminate discrimination. My guest today is Raynaldo Brown. Raynaldo is a 20-year employee with the Annapolis Department of Public Works, and he has found time to work extensively in his community, Oxford Landing, and others in the city, and volunteer ventures. Raynaldo, welcome to Annapolis Mosaics.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
You know, one of the areas of projects in which you have shown leadership has been a program that's been dubbed as the Back to School program, designed to help students whose parents need help in obtaining the necessary supplies for their school classes. Could you share with us a little bit about your involvement with this program and what it's all about?
Well, actually, it's a program we started 6 years ago. I kept saying that I was going to try to put something like that together, and finally I did. I go around to different businesses throughout the city of Annapolis that actually donate to the Back to School program. When we first started, the first year we serviced about 99 kids. This year will be the 6th year, and we serviced over 500 kids this year due to people donating and everything and making this program really works. Me and I got to send a special thanks out to my wife because she plays a big part. That a lot of people always say I do this and I do this, but my wife and my family really plays a great big part in supporting me in every program I put together to do. And that's the nutshell. And I just like to do it because of the simple fact it helps some families that can't afford it for the back to school. We give away more than just book bags and pencils and stuff. We give away hand sanitizer, we give away index cards, we give away sticky pads, we give away paper clips, and that's what makes it so much fun.
Where do you get the supplies from?
A lot of different businesses donate for the back to school throughout the city that've been with me from day one. Each year they know I'm coming back around again and they're willing to donate again to the event.
Mm-hmm. With so many individuals in the city who come from backgrounds where the parents can't afford some or all of the supplies that they need for their classes, I'm sure that you've got many, many people who come for help. Do you try to service everyone, or is there a selection process that you use in terms of determining who would get aid at any particular time? In other words, how do you select the people and the families that are eligible to get assistance through the Back to School program?
Well, actually, we don't actually go and pick different families. What we do is we had a banner that was made by Millie Sign Shop about the first year we did it, and each year he changed the date and time, and we stick it right in front of the community as it's coming in the entrance, and it sit there saying Oxford Landing Back to School, free school supplies, and people come by as they see it. They make sure that they be there for the event, and that's the way it goes. And when it's all over, any supplies that I do have over, I'll go and donate them to different schools and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But for the most of all, people is not that I pick this kid or that kid. We put the banner up. We start at 3 o'clock on the dot, and we give away from there. Who comes, that's who get it.
Okay. How have you got any stories to tell from in which some of the children have come back and talked to you and told you how much this has helped them, or in which the families have told you how much this has really helped?
Oh, just the last one we did, some of the families, when we serviced over 500 kids this year, 2 or 3 different people from families and kids told me that they appreciate it and thanks a lot. And so like I told them, just go to school and learn. You know, take these supplies and put them to work. And that's my thing that I tell them. Put these supplies to work. Don't use the paper as a coloring book.
Okay.
Use the paper for education.
Excellent. I also know that you've been involved and provided leadership for a Big Brothers and Sisters program as well. Could you tell our viewers a little bit about that project?
Well, actually, we was doing a Big Brother and Big Sister program out there in the Annapolis Garden and Bowman Court area, where different, the way it was supposed to was going. If I got one person to come aboard that was a Big Brother, hopefully that person could get another person, and that person could get another person. We involved the Annapolis Housing Authority when we did it, Anita Jackson. So she would be the one to do the background check. So if some of the people that was going to be Big Brothers and Big Sisters that couldn't afford the background check, housing took care of it to say that this person was cleared and for the background check to do a kid. And the young lady that worked at the rec, Sandra, was the one had the kids lined up, and as the Big Brothers and Big Sisters came in, she had the kids, and we'd be like, this kid, that kid, and that's the way it went.
Okay. You mentioned that you do work in Annapolis Gardens and Bowman Court,
Right.
in addition to in Oxford Landing. What's your tie to Annapolis Gardens and Bowman Court? I know you've done a number of things there. We're going to talk about those in just a moment. But why? What's your association with that community in addition to Oxford Landing? I know you live in Oxford Landing.
Well, actually, I live in Oxford Landing, but when I grew up, that's where I grew up, out in Annapolis Garden, and I just use that as my give back. We do a Christmas party out there every year.
Right.
Me, my cousin Lisa DeHaces, and Jeffrey Tools, we work on that each year, and I just use that as my give back to the community, to people that's in the community.
Tell us a little bit about the Christmas party. As you said, you do this thing every year. You have a Christmas party. What kinds of things do you do with that party?
Well, actually, at the Christmas party, we have a sit-down dinner. My wife usually prepare all the food, bless her heart. And we have a sit-down dinner and everything for the kids. And we also, every kid that, last year, like 170 kids came out. Every kid left with a gift. I think like about 12 kids left with 2 gifts because the people donated. We had like televisions and TVs and stuff like that we give away. As far as the televisions and stuff, we give those away on basis of using raffle tickets. Not that we don't sell them.
Right.
We give the kid a raffle ticket.
Right.
And that determines who will receive the bicycle or the TV or whatever the case may be, because we can't just say, give this kid one, and don't give all the rest. So we use the raffle tickets as the term to say who will receive the extra gifts.
Right. You talk a little bit about give back. This is your way of giving back to Annapolis Gardens and Bowman Court. Tell us why you feel that way. What is it that you feel that you're giving back? You obviously have a very close emotional connection with that community. Tell us a little bit about.
I just feel as though that I'm actually giving back, because I know some kids grow up without a father in their life and they have a rough time, and by them not having a father figure around is rough for them. And I just feel as though that's part of my give back to, because I came out of the same area. I'm successful, and I think that if I work hard enough, that I can save one child coming out of that community.
Okay. It's my understanding that you take a group of young men to the Impact program at correctional facilities and centers in the community. Can you give our viewers a little bit of detail about what that involves and what the purpose of that program is?
Well, actually, it's a program up there at Jessup. It's called Impact Program. They do it up at MCIJ. And what it is, mostly, I'll take kids up there on the tour is roughly a 3.5-hour tour. The inmates up there, first of all, they tell the kids, first, we're not trying to scare you. They want to let the kids know what everyday life is like in prison, and it's not a happy life. And they show them, they explain to the kids what brought them to prison, tell them everything, and we tour the institution for the whole time, and just trying to save a kid and let them know that prison is not the right answer for them.
Is this somewhat like the program of a so-called Scared Straight kind of program? Who actually talks to the kids there? Do inmates talk to them, or do prison officials talk to them? Who?
Well, actually, the guys that does the program is actually the inmates. When we up in the front, the correctional officers give us our badge, our little bracelet to get us into the facility. Once we get in, once we cross the other side of the line, the officer turn the program over to the inmates, and the inmates take the program from there. They show the kids the whole facility, and they run the program until it's over. The inmates does it, and they do a real good job.
Do any of the kids really feel that after you've seen them go through that they're affected by it?
Well, I done took quite a few kids up there, and the program have saved a lot of them, but also some of them had to find out from themselves that you can take them there and show them, and some still got to find out from themselves what it's like. Sorry to say, but that's the way it goes. But since I've been going, I know we saved more than one kid.
Right.
And that's my main mission, to save just one kid.
Right. We're going to take a brief break right now, but when we return, I will be talking with Raynaldo about some of the other activities in which he is involved with, as well as what has motivated him to become so involved in community life. We are talking today with Raynaldo Brown, community volunteer extraordinaire. Raynaldo Brown is a 20-year employee with the Annapolis Department of Public Works, but he has been extensively involved in the community. Raynaldo, could you tell us about some of the other kinds of activities that you have been involved with that you found very, very meaningful, other than those which we've discussed so far today?
Well, the one as far as, like we talked about the back to school and the Christmas party and the MCIJ, those are one of my big ones I get up for. We also take kids on tour to shock trauma. We also are working on taking kids to tours to colleges as well. And like I said, a Big Brother program, and just try to work with the kids and let them see that it isn't the other side of the table, and not just one side that some kids think that it is. So, and we just focus on just trying to let them know that.
Tell us a little bit about the shock trauma program that you just mentioned.
Well, actually, that's a shock trauma program that we go to. Is a trauma doctor that's a part of the program from Baltimore and from Prince George County. He sit down and talk to the kids about drug abuse, alcohol. He also talked to them about that they can come to shock trauma and work there, and shows them slides. At the end, they do like a little questionnaire and everything, and you just keep letting them know that drugs and alcohol and riding in cars, all that stuff just don't mix, and you gotta wear your seatbelt.
You know, in addition to your full-time job with the Department of Public Works, you also work part-time at the Hope House in Crownsville as a security officer. Tell our viewers a little bit about the Hope House. My guess is that many of the viewers don't know anything about that facility. And what's it there for? What do they do? What's the purpose? I know it ties in with the whole drug and alcohol treatment efforts.
Well, the Hope House is a facility that actually is for drug and alcohol offense. Some folks come there on their own. Some folks come through court. Now they have something called a drug court. Some folks come through there. Some folks come through some institutions sometime, and it's like a 30-day program, and just get them through there and try to help them the best we can.
And what do you do specifically in your role as a security officer there? What's your
Well,
job?
actually, my part that I actually play, when folks come in, I make sure they sign in, and when people there that house the house there, when they leave out, they come back in, I make sure they pull their pockets and all that stuff like that. But basically, I just talk to them as this is what I tell them that I'm not a counselor, and I just talk to them and let them know that drugs ain't the answer. I mean, we all make mistakes in life. You made a mistake, get back on the right track, and go back out there and be successful in life. And that's what I tell them that.
Right. Now, you've also mentioned that you are involved in helping students go for college trips and that type of thing. How does that work? Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, actually, we're working on trying to get a tours going up at community college and run a community college. We're still working on it. I'm trying to talk to the right folks to put it in place to make it work. And once we get it going, then we will be going up there on tours.
Of all of the various community volunteer work that you are involved in and have done over the years, and it's extraordinary what you've done in terms of your work with children. What are you the most proud of? If you had to pick one thing, and tell us why you're most proud of it.
Well, I mean, actually, is really more or less I could say that the back to school was something that I always kept saying I was going to do, and then I finally did it. But still, in the same token, I like the Christmas party because I'm giving back to the community and helping some people in the community that I grew up in as well. And so really, all of them is really what I consider is really good things for me. I mean, I can't pick one. I mean, once I do the back to school, my wife already know that I'm getting ready for the Christmas party. You know what I mean? So, and that's what it all is.
Right.
Yeah.
Looking ahead over the next 5 to 10 years, you've already got a lot of programs, a lot of projects that you're working on. Are you thinking of new things to do? Are you thinking of new areas to extend your volunteer work into? Do you have any visions of the future in terms of your volunteer? Are there some things that you'd like to be doing that you're thinking down the line, gee, these are some things I'd really like to get involved in?
Well, actually, right now, what I'm doing, I'm actually working with the Boys and Girls Club down in Bywater. They have a program down there called Passport to Manhood, and I've been working down there with them, going around bringing in different speakers each week so they can speak to the kids as far as about the passport to manhood and how, when they go out, how they should be presenting themselves and all that kind of stuff. So I'm working on that, and sometimes if I'm home and something comes across my mind, I'll write it down.
Yeah.
And when I say I'm going to do something, I usually live up to it.
Yeah.
So I haven't really thought of nothing else right now. And I'm meeting with a few other folks on a few other things, and we'll just go from there with it.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about the program, Passport to Manhood. You mentioned that this is a program designed to help individuals to present themselves well. What exactly is the program? What does it do? What is it? What's its purpose?
The program is basically bringing in folks to actually talk to kids, to let them know that when you actually go out, the way you should be acting, and when you meet somebody, the way you should be introducing yourself, and letting them know if you're going out to look for work, you got to present yourself in the right fashion. You can't go out there with your pants all slacked down and think you're gonna get a job doing this or that. So, and different speakers come in and talk to them and let them know that you just got to present yourself in the right fashion and do what your parents tell you. You know, a lot of times they might don't want to do it, but one of those days you're gonna be a parent, and when you be a parent, you want your kids to listen to you. So you should be listening to your parents right now as you go. Yeah.
One of the things that I suspect our viewers are thinking about right now is, gosh, this is really exciting, all of the different projects and programs and outreach efforts that you're involved with. What's motivated you to contribute all of the time and effort that you put into this? Because already you've got a full-time job with the City of Annapolis, you have a part-time job with the Hope Center, you're a married man, you've got a family. And this is a lot of community volunteer work that you're involved with. Something that you're not given any monetary compensation for. So what is it that really excites you to continue to do this, Raynaldo?
Well, the biggest thing, like I said, I mean, I don't mind helping folks, and I look at it as maybe one day I might need help, and I hope when I need it, somebody's there for me, and that's the way I look at it. I mean, even though I'm doing a lot of running, like I said again, you know, thanks to my wife, she know I'm doing this, and she understands, and she don't get upset or nothing behind it. So my main thing is just to focus on just giving back, and that's the way I look at it, just giving back.
Okay, all right. Are there any individuals in the work that you've done over the years in your volunteer effort that you would describe as being role models for you, people who have provided you with encouragement that you can turn to and say, gee, this individual really, really helped me, has strengthened me? Anybody or anything that anybody or anything that comes to mind?
Well, I'd just like to send a special thanks to my parents, because that's the way they brought me up, to just give back, because one day, I might need it, and that's what I live on. Just giving back and helping folks.
Okay. One of the things that we see throughout the community are many, many people who are truly interested in getting involved in community activities and such as these. Of the various programs that you're involved with, is there any way that if there are people who want to become involved with the various programs you've talked about, the back to school effort, the Big Brothers and Sisters program, the Christmas party, and many of the other things that you've mentioned here today, are you looking for additional volunteers? And if so, how can they get involved? How can they assist with these efforts?
Well, I'm always looking for extra volunteers, but like I said early in the program, my family, they support me in any program I put together. My wife is there to support me. If any viewers out there would like to play a part in any of those things that we do, the Big Brothers, the back to school, the Christmas party, they can call me, Raynaldo, at 444-443-205-6419. That's my cell. Or they also can call me by email, raybrown1127@aol.com.
Well, we've been really blessed by having you here today, Raynaldo, because what you are doing is giving encouragement to other people who are thinking about possibly getting involved in community activities and community affairs. And the kind of volunteer efforts that you were involved with really give people a sense of encouragement. When did you really start getting involved with the kind of volunteer efforts that you're involved with? Is this something that is fairly recent? Is it something that you've done for a long period of time? How long have you been involved with it?
Well, actually,
how did you get started?
Well, actually, the back to school and the Christmas party, that's been going on 6 years, but the tours and stuff up at MCIJ, I've probably been doing that roughly around about 7 or 8 years. A young lady named Anita Jackson took me up to the Maryland House of Correction one time on a tour, and then I got a clearance and I just kept going on my own up there. The back to school thing was something that I kept saying I was going to start, and I finally did that. The Christmas party was something that it started. I have a cousin of mine named Lisa DeHaces that been in her own business for a great period of time, and she always took care of 2 families out there in Annapolis Garden because that's where she grew up. And she was like, well, let's try to do a Christmas party for both communities instead of just 2 families that she always took care of. And I went around and got donations and this and that, and towards the end, whatever I didn't have for the party, I went to her and she just wrote a check off for the rest of it to make sure that we had what we needed to do the Christmas party. And that's what got it going.
We've been talking today with Raynaldo Brown, who has been an extraordinary worker in our community and volunteer service, mixing extensive amount of assisting other people, especially youth and children, with a very busy schedule that includes a full-time job, a part-time job, and family responsibilities. Raynaldo, you are a living demonstration that everyone can give back to the community, to use the phrase that you have mentioned many, many times in our conversation today. An example of what an individual can do to make a difference, and just like to express thanks for that. And also thank our viewers for tuning in to our program today. Please join us again for another edition of Annapolis Mosaics. If you would like to have more information about the Annapolis Human Relations Commission, just contact us at the phone number or email address that is on the screen before you, 410-263-7998 or hrcommission@annapolis.gov. And always keep in mind the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We have flown the air like birds and swum the sea like fishes, but we have yet to learn the simple act of walking the earth like brothers and sisters.